Yeah, if you could just try it faster, that'd be great. And then you'll be better than Piastri.
Yeah.
So just
Try
take that
driving
on board.
faster, you idiot.
A social media bite is exactly what it's called.
You fucking boomer. If it wasn't for Max this year, the Red Bull team would be last in the Constructors' Championship. Hello. Welcome back to Idiots of F1, the podcast that tackles the world's fastest sport with the even faster minds. I'm Ollie, your host, with my three highly esteemed co-idiots, and we are wedged firmly in the middle of a back-to-back doubleheader, which means there's no time to breathe, no time to reflect, and definitely no time to fix whatever the fuck Lance Stroll is doing with his CV. This week we're diving into all the fallout from a surprisingly spicy Austrian Grand Prix, McLaren flex, Norris bounced back, and somewhere in the background George Russell spent 71 laps opening and closing the oven door, while Kimi Antonelli discovered what it's like to love tap Max Verstappen. We've also got the return of, as always, Hush You Been Paying Attention, coming up, our weekly F1 themed quiz where chaos meets competition. For context, each episode my co-hosts go head-to-head, answering questions about, well, all sorts of shit, either directly or very indirectly related to the upcoming race and host city. It's fast, it's unfiltered, and I bloody love it. We're then going to gear up to preview Silverstone, the spiritual home of F1, I believe, the actual home of half the grid, and the probable side of at least one Lewis to win at home headline that definitely won't age well. And rounding out this episode of Audio Mayhem for you, we're going to check in on this week's What's Verstappening, our very own Pardon the Interruption, where we tackle a range of key headlines and throw our craved judgment towards them all. But before we get going, waving in the corner, I can see them trying to distract me as I get through this intro. We're heading to England this weekend, so let's warm up your souls with a few themed icebreaker questions to introduce my fellow esteemed dickheads. Ev, welcome. You're stranded in an English pub with three British F1 personality. One buys the first round, one picks the playlist, and one drives you home. Who are you choosing and why?
I would choose Nigel Mansell to buy the first round. I think
Okay.
he's an old guy, so I reckon he'd probably get like a pretty strong pint of beer instead of like
He's like the Bob,
some
he's
low
like the
carb
Bob
bullshit.
Hawke.
Yeah,
Bob Hawke of F1.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like that. That's
and
good.
He'd be good for a chat, I reckon.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd have to get Lewis. I think that's probably a given.
So is he driving you home?
Do it.
Or
What's
is
doing
he
there?
picking the...
What
do
was
it.
the second? What's
Pick the
second person
playlist.
meant to be doing?
Music.
Pick the playlist.
Oh, Lewis can drive me home then. I don't need I don't need his playlist. I'm going to clone Nigel Mansell twice. And
Okay.
just have Nigel Mansell's music. No. I don't know a third English driver. Well, it'd be Martin Brundle, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Let
could be
Martin-
quite good, actually.
I'll let the oldies pick some old.
Let's be honest,
music.
Ev. By 3 beers deep, you're telling all of them they can take you home. You can take me home. You can take me home.
Nigel's got the mustache.
Yeah. All right, very good. Tay, you've been invited to a Silverstone garden party with the king. What are you wearing, and which F1 driver are you bringing as your plus one? I don't know why I keep
Out
giving
of
you the
all
fashion ones.
Fucking, why?
excuse
I do not
me.
I wear the same shit
Taylor
every day.
Taylor would be the plus one.
Yeah,
Taylor's
yeah.
not like he's not
Yeah.
the man in the
Yeah.
relationship.
I'm the handbag.
Yeah, you'd have to be one of the first people I reckon to be at a tea party with the king wearing a trucker hat. That'd be you. You got this big
No,
dumb
it'd be a snapback.
obnoxious snapback hat on.
But
Yeah. Have you
I
got
feel
anything?
like you guys answered it for me.
Yeah, right.
Holy
Cool.
shit.
All right. Well, then
It'd
we can move to Digby if you want. If you got
Yeah,
That
trucker
would
cap.
be-
and overalls.
number
and
one.
overalls. There
Number
you go.
one.
Done.
Nah. It'd be
Rockstar shirt.
It'd be Gilbert. It'll be Gilbert rugby shorts.
Gilbert
and
rugby
a
shorts.
box,
Really tight shorts.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a box
Yeah.
t-shirt.
Oh, your legs are
and-
so pale too. That would just be
Yeah,
so.
I know.
Yeah.
I'd make sure I'd tan up.
He's gonna look like Freddie Mercury in every photo of Freddie Mercury
Yeah.
on stage. Just like really tight shorts.
All right. Digby. Jam and cream scones. Are you a cream first or a jam first on your scone person? And if you had to have a tea party, so not a garden party, but a tea party, and share scones with, well, I don't know, let's call it Daniel Craig and one driver from the grid, who are you choosing and why?
Okay, I didn't think there was an alternative to putting jam on your scone first. So if you don't do that, it's something.
I
wrong. It's
agree.
always jam
I
first,
agree.
Then cream on top. Me and Daniel Craig having tea, but it'd be like Irish coffee or something.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'd like to
Russell.
speak to Antonelli because I'd like to know who his publicist is. Because geez, isn't he just like? I'm starting to get the feeling that they want him to be the next big thing.
Oh, yeah. Lewis 2.0. Yeah. With all that said, let's do this. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and rip into this week's episode. Diggs, cue that segment intro. Va-va-voom. All right, time to rewind the chaos and dive into what actually happened at the Red Bull Ring. Because while the setting was scenic, the racing was anything but serene. We had more McLaren dominance, intra-team fireworks, first lap heartbreak, a midfield miracle from Sauber, and a rookie trying to go toe-to-toe with a 4-time world champ. I wrote 7 for about, 200 metres. This was Austria doing what Austria does best, punishing the overambitious, rewarding the resilient, and handing out track limit penalties like their party favours. So let's break it all down from Norris's redemption arc to Antonelli's rookie reality check and figure out who made moves, who made mistakes, and who just survived the Styrian slap. Gents, let's start at the top, and fittingly at the 2 steps of the podium was... hold on, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Let's start at the top, and fittingly at the top of the step, for the 4th time this year, it was actually another McLaren 1-2 with the Papayas, Lando, Norris, and Oscar Piastri rounding out 1st and 2nd.
Lovely.
The conclusion of the 25 Austrian Grand Prix saw Lando back in the winner's circle, and I would like to go on record and say a statement drive in Austria. So after copping huge amounts of heat, including in this podcast post-Canada, he delivered exactly the kind of response that you would want from a guy in a title fight. He had a cool head, his lines were clean, and a refusal to crack under pressure, even when his teammate was close enough to read his tyre pressures. He started on pole, helped by, let's be honest, Oscar, and this is more Digby's... This is Digby's state more than mine, getting fucked over by a yellow flag. But even Oscar admitted that Lando had the edge on Saturday. And to be fair, Lando didn't put a wheel wrong come Sunday. That battle between them, gents, that was spicy. No team orders, no coded hold position radio calls. Just 2 McLaren drivers scrapping it like it was karting all over again. And when Piastri threw that move down inside, I think it was at turn 4, about, maybe 19, 20 laps, I reckon 90% of the paddock held their breath there. But Lando held firm.
That was a good example. I'm glad you brought that up because that, to me, I actually thought Piastri didn't do a great job. Like, I thought he had he had to have a pretty perfect weekend because Norris had a great weekend. But that was a silly move. I don't even think, there was nothing really there I didn't see. It was a bit odd the way he came in. Like, there wasn't real, that's not a corner that you do a late break on. And that's a slow moving corner.
My take on it is because they both knew they were about to pit, and whoever was going to get the benefit of the strategy call needed to be coming first, and he was just taking a lot. He thought, "Fuck it, I'm gonna." If that was Danny Ricciardo, if that was Danny Ricciardo, he probably would have nailed it because he was regarded for his late dive bombing.
We were talking about Norris a few weeks back and saying, when it comes to pressure moments, he's not doing very well. I think that's a good example of Piastri slipping up in a pressured moment. Yeah, he needed to get that spot, but that wasn't the time to do it, and that wasn't the way to do it. It felt a bit uncharacteristic, and I thought Norris did a great job, pretty great job holding him off. I think at the end of the race, Norris was not lucky. Like you talked about the qualifying lap, and I was like, oh yeah, the yellow flag. He probably still would have beat them anyway. I think it was the thing that was bugging me is the way they presented it. Like, look at this huge gap between Norris and everybody else, as if there wasn't a yellow flag. I think that's what was bugging me. It's not that I expected him to come second.
Can we just take a moment to admire how awesome Zach and Andrea are for genuinely allowing these guys to race? Diggs, you made a comment that... Well, actually, I can't remember. Maybe it was Tay. Somebody made a comment that you didn't actually think that Oscar's driving was that great. Maybe that was a swipe to suggest that Lando's wasn't that great. But there's a moment...
No. It wasn't a swipe at all.
Yeah, okay. I know. I'm just wondering. But Christian Horner offered up his assessment of where McLaren held advantage over the field in Austria. And I think this actually echoes just how incredible Oscar drove, because Christian had pointed out in quite colourful fashion that Oscar being able to follow Lando that closely was unbelievable. His words were, it was truly impressive. For me, I can't see any other team being able to do it. when you look at Oscar, how Oscar is able to run behind Lando with a car fat on fuel at the beginning of the race, and he's basically making love to his fucking exhaust pipe for lap after lap after lap, and the tyres are not dying. That, to me, that is their advantage. That they've managed to create a car that really protects their tyres well and has good balance. So, yeah, again,
Why can't he talk like a normal human being?
You don't like that? I
Like-
like that from Christian. He's
He
always
doesn't
so
have to
pompous.
I thought it was quite funny.
He's just such a spoilt little of a
He's such a Mercedes
Oh,
fan.
He cannot win with you, Ev.
No,
Yeah,
he can't.
the Lando and Oscar. Oh, they're following it. Oh, and by the way, we won that year. We won. Michael Massey didn't give it. He always finds a way to bring it back.
I would pay to watch a podcast with Evan, Max, and Christian.
They just
Lewis all together on a fucking
I
round
interviewed
table.
Christian, and we were both very cordial.
You chat GPT,
Hey,
Christian.
Do you guys reckon that was Lando's best, if not most important win yet? I mean, he's got 7 wins now?
Definitely
I
his
think?
most important.
Yeah.
100% it's his most important. If he hadn't won Sunday, I think the year starts to really get away from him, especially after that crash.
But I just
And
think
I
the
thought,
way he won.
I must note, his start was fantastic. We always talk about how he can't start. Great start from Lando
For
this
once,
time.
he's learned.
Yeah, great start from Oscar too. Like he took Charles very
to be
quickly. But
fair,
really
they were
good,
both incredible.
notably good start. Notably good start by Norris because he's famous for not doing that. I think Austria is a very hard track because one little mistake means big changes. So I think to keep consistent the way he did, I think. Obviously he got the better strategy too, but I don't really think that's what you get for being ahead.
It was an enjoyable race, and I loved watching them. And I love the fact, as you said, that they were able to actually compete and race each other was brilliant. And all credit to Norris. He did as you said, he did a phenomenal job.
That was a lot of pressure.
And it was it was the first time I've seen him learn from the past and actually show progression and show what he's capable of in a consistent weekend.
Well, a week is a long time in racing, and it's obviously gone from 1 week where he was anything but a world championship ready version of Lando. But Ev, would you say, are we being too considerate to even be talking about the fact that he is championship ready now? Like, he's had one good race, but obviously the way he's gone about it was pretty impressive.
In all fairness, that was a great deal of pressure that Piastri was putting him under. And I remember at one point, one of the commentators was saying that this is the way Oscar drives is very Lewis-esque in that it's when he knows he's hunting, apart from the mistake he made, but he doesn't make. They don't make mistakes because they're affecting you in a sense. Alonso's the same, where they make you overdrive your car because they're so close. It's exactly the same as having a car too close to your rear bumper, and you kind of get a bit nervous.
But
and
you're focused on how close they are behind you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, and that's at 50 or 60 kilometers an hour. So I don't know. It's very impressive that he didn't flinch. He didn't make a mistake like locking up or doing anything like that. In saying that, there's really only 1 or 2 overtaking spots in that track, and every other corner he kind of just put it in the middle, and it was like, oh, well, all right. Because of how big the cars are, there isn't more than one angle through a corner. You kind of just have to take the middle. There was a point where in turn 5, where it's a long left hand, and Oscar was taking it quite narrow, and it was that was giving him a lot of more time, and so Lando's engineer had to tell him, it was like, you got to cut in a little bit because he's getting you on that corner, and then that puts you on more, and then because
that was the radio of the weekend, because if you don't know what they're talking about, it sounds really dumb. He's like, Piastri's getting you. Where can I find more speed? top speed. If you could just get the high speed,
on the high
great.
speed.
I'm like, if you could just drive faster, that'd be great. And then you'll be better than Piastri.
Yeah.
So just
Try
take that on
driving
board.
faster, you idiot.
It's interesting. I think the result. It's just funny how much everything's coming down to qualifying, even with tracks like Austria, because I think if Oscar had have qualified first, he would have probably won that race. Like, in saying that, I say that on the basis that it only seems to matter if McLaren qualify first. Because I think if you put if Ferrari were out in front, they're not winning that race. McLaren's would have chased them down. Any other team.
The last thing I will say about that effort from Norris and Piastri, the only thing to me that doesn't say he's world champ potential just yet is I don't know if I think this because, or I don't know if this is why it's my favorite track. It's very easy to drive Austria compared to a lot of other tracks. Like, you've only got
Mr. Expert.
Well, I'm just saying as someone who can't drive very well in the game, that I feel very comfortable on that track because there's a lot of high-speed corners and you don't have to think too much on these.
Speaking of the game, this is the track that is most kind of representative of if you are the best of your mates, and you have to come up and lap someone. And lapping someone on this track is very stressful because it's such a go-kart kind of a track. Yeah, I'm coming up on Ollie. I don't know if he's going to turn left or right. I don't know. And he's just like, get out of that way! Just go around. Just go around.
Hey, just a quick one. I saw this really crazy stat over the weekend. Did you guys know that in 2020, Oscar was running around in F3, and his teammate at the time was Logan Sargent?
Oh, yeah.
So, who you may recall was racing for Williams last year. He's the American that was, and he's since been binned off. He's actually not racing at all, like in any other kind of racing.
Well, he might be waiting
product.
for not Corvette, Cadillac or something.
Well,
like that.
yeah,
we don't know.
possibly don't know, but he's not racing. But my point is that in that season, Logan actually out-qualified Oscar 8-1. 5 years later, Oscar is leading the F1 Drivers' Championship, and Logan is not racing at all. Like, I mean, we joked about, a week being a long time in racing. 5 years is obviously unbelievable, but that is wild to think that, back in only 5 years ago, Oscar was really struggling. Like, his development has obviously been quite substantial. It's
I'd
quite
love
impressive.
to have known that. I'd love to have, if they had filmed that and make it a documentary of that progress and what in that F3 championship was the turning point for him.
I don't know, but if they did do a movie about that, Logan would be homeless by the end of it. Like, it's like one path is this bloke onto the riches, the other one's life just falls apart. It started so well. Hey, switching. Let's round out the podium. Actually, third and fourth was another two cars from the same team. So Ferrari third and fourth. Charles Leclerc
beat me by one.
Came home grabbing third and pretty much nailed the best of the rest. Following qualifying where he came in second and some hope was sprinkled throughout the Tifosi across the world. His race was immediately compromised by pretty ordinary kind of first lap where Piastri and he tangled and Piastri ended up kind of grabbing that and never looked back. Look, I think Ferrari and Charles clearly clocked early that they didn't have the legs to run with McLaren. So, pretty sensible drive from both he and Lewis. They didn't chase ghosts. They didn't overdrive their cars. Charles obviously ended up banking a podium. Not to say they didn't not have their typical radio messages sprinkled through the broadcast for everybody to hear. I mean, it just sounds like that whole thing with Charles, which I'm sure one of you will bring up in a second. Hey, look, we'll get on to Lewis in a minute. Another 3-4 finish for them has moved them back into second in the Constructors' Championship, which is kind of fucking wild because we've all spoken about how shit Ferrari are all year. And to be honest with you, for me, and again, keen to get your guys' take on this, it seemed like a better weekend for Ferrari, and obviously all of the talk and the PR shit after from both drivers would suggest, attributing it somewhat to a recent uptick in form because of their new developments. I think they've got a new floor. But was it actually
Yes.
a good weekend for Ferrari, or just a really bad weekend because of what happened with Mercedes and
For
Red Bull?
everyone else.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
So last week when we talked about this, you predicted that to be slightly better. I gave them a 4th and 5th instead of a 5th and 6th. So they outdid me by 1. But the reason I think it's significant is because George was so far behind both of them. It wasn't... Mercedes wasn't close. Now let's assume that Kimi didn't knock himself out of the race. What?
Early on, wasn't George and Lewis fighting?
Oh, for maybe
But
like
by
half
the end,
a lap.
But by the end of the
Yeah, yeah,
race,
yeah,
they were
yeah.
impossible.
By the end of the race,
Yeah.
George was miles behind. It was like Ferrari were in a league of their own in 3rd and 4th. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't competitive, and I think that's what was really impressive about them this week. I mean, obviously McLaren were miles ahead of them as well, but there was a huge gap, and I think they should be happy with that gap from Mercedes. If they can continue that, then surely second is a sure thing for them.
The only thing that can't be faked, because especially in like qualifying or free practice, or pre-season testing, you never know if somebody's running heavy fuel load. You don't know if they're running a new part that they're not intending to use in this race, or they're just testing it out. So you don't know if that's why they're going fast or slower. What you can't fake, however, is consistency. And so if those two Ferraris are close, regardless of who's 1 or 2, that you cannot fake that. You can't fake how the McLaren is good for both drivers. Mercedes have been very consistent. Kimi and George have been very consistent. But the Red Bull is undrivable.
Well, we'll get to them in a minute.
I know that. So that's when you look at Sainz, how much he's had both bad form and bad luck. Their cars are not consistent. One week, one guy does well, another week, and it's just...
Compared to like Haas and Saber,
Sauber.
like they've been consistent.
Sauber.
I didn't even...
Neither
neither of those
pronunciations
were correct. Neither
Super.
of them. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyways,
I was going to say
what did you say?
steak.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, if they can keep this up,
as the years gone on, they've been consistent too.
Yeah, well, we'll get
And
again.
that's starting to show even more. But
I don't know how.
I
I don't know how, but anyway, we'll get to them.
We'll get to them. Hey, again, like I said, Lewis came in 4th. It's pretty evident that they were unable to catch up or even compete with the McLarens. I think Charles finished something like 20 seconds off Norris. However, he was comfortably clear of Hamilton. I think there was another 10 or 15 seconds between them, and that's a lot of the talking point regarding Ferrari is the difference between their drivers and just how far Lewis is. That said, it was his strongest performance since joining Ferrari, so an equal P4. As I said, he seemed pretty chuffed about it, albeit there was a moment. Did you guys see that or hear it during the radio?
The radio
where,
thing?
Yeah. Look, I'm not sure if it would have made much of a difference, but so
That's not the point.
But okay, so here's a question for you guys, right? So what I was alluding to there is this is a point towards the back, maybe 30% of the race. Lewis had been on the set of tyres. He was pretty comfortable with his tyres. He must have asked, based on this radio transmission that we were all
on that
privy
meme.
to.
Yeah.
He must have said 3 or 4 times, "I want to stay out," in no uncertain terms. And his race engineer just almost completely ignored all that and just kept on saying box. So Lewis ended up boxing. I mean, 2 things. Would it have made a difference if Lewis had tried the one-stop strategy? Could a podium have would Charles have actually gotten him? And second of all, and maybe Tay, I'll come to you for that question, but then Ev, maybe one for you or Diggs after that is, isn't it normally, or we've seen that the drivers are the ones that make these calls, but there seemed to be no interest in letting Lewis make this call based on what was coming out of the pit wall. Anyways, Tay, you've got your hand up.
So, yeah. So what I'm struggling with, right, is obviously Ferrari is
Pronunciation.
so known for their strategy being always shit. So at some
At least in
point,
our time, anyway.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Like in the last 5 years. So for Lewis to come in with, for Lewis to come in and with all of his experience and his race asset like craft.
Yeah.
Why he's abiding by what they're telling him when he is the one who's like, no, I feel like
But
I
I
should
think
know
that's
more.
I think
So
that's why
guess
he's a
this
world champ, is because he's always listened to his team. Well, at least he
Listen,
thanks
so
them.
I guess that,
At least he thanks them.
Yeah,
and
so-
at least that's where I'm going
turn,
with,
Ev.
in my second part, is that what penalties are there if he was just to fucking ignore them and just continue on?
Well, it wouldn't look
You know,
good.
like-
It wouldn't look good for Ferrari's
sure.
brand, I'm
I feel
sure.
like
but
I feel
yes,
like Ev knows the answer to this.
well, he's going to make it up. Yeah.
And go.
I'm going to make up the truth.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure. Okay,
so-
Donald Trump.
Yeah. So the drivers know what they want and they know what they're feeling. So Lewis or whoever says, I'm fine. Ironically, Lewis has a long, vast reputation of these games over the radio saying, my
okay.
tires are shitting themselves.
Yeah,
and
I
then
remember that.
the guy
Yeah.
behind him comes in and then it's, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
True.
and that worked every time as well. It never, it didn't
Suckers.
fail to work. Yeah. In this case, so Ferrari, the engineers, the data analysts, they're all doing their jobs in real time. They know what the projection is for the tire, for the speeds, and all of that. They have a greater macro
They've got all the
view
data.
of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And what the other
So-
drivers are doing.
Yeah, so what you would call the most optimal strategy is to come in and get new tires, because the time spent getting those tires you'll make back because they're new. But
okay.
And then there's also another thing, which is Ferrari don't want Lewis attacking their own teammate.
So that was my
Ferrari
next. So
don't
that was
have-
going to be my question:
That's-
is if it wasn't
yes.
Charles in third place, would they have
Yes.
let Lewis go on? You reckon?
Probably.
Yep.
Oh, that's nuts.
Admittedly,
I get
you've got
it,
to
I
say
get it.
they're not communicating very well.
Yeah, they
From
should
a
be like,
based on-
they should be
clinically
saying,
speaking.
no, we don't want you challenging Charles. Is
Yeah,
the words they
yeah,
should-
not this. Whoever the guy is who does
I'm
Lewis's
imagining
race
the pit wall,
engineering.
and he's got his like instructions of what to say to Lewis, and Lewis is like, "Can I stay out?" And he looks up at whoever, if Fred was still there,
Everyone's
so he
looking
goes,
at-
and he looks up, and then just
Crossed. Yeah.
box box.
Arms crossed, shaking their heads.
Lewis calls in,
arms
and
crossed,
so the
shaking
guy,
their head.
his
The guy's
engineer
like,
looks up.
I don't think he wants to box. Looks up at his supervisor, just shaking his head. No.
Just keep shaking his head.
Box, box.
Yeah.
The guy's so scared he doesn't know what to say.
Well, I tell you what, I think, and that's why I'm actually quite excited. I don't think Ferrari's got any chance this weekend, but fuck, I'd love to see Lewis, not for a sprint race, but for an actual race, find his way back onto that podium. It'd be cool if it was this weekend. Hey, shifting
think
from
he'd agree
Lewis
with you,
to his ex-teammate George Russell. So George came in fifth. He was he was flying solo for Mercedes after Antonelli's early exit. Let's be honest, this one looked like, again, a bit of a damage limitation mission from lap one from George. He was a full minute behind the win, which is, again, kind of unheard of, at least in recent times for Mercedes. But in line with our chat last week, this felt less about George and more about what that W15 does when the sun comes out. The heat, the high deg surface, the cooling issues, everything
Just ask
Mercedes
Williams.
didn't want to see. Well, yeah, I'm gonna throw out Williams in a minute, but these are all a combination of things that we know Mercedes don't actually want to see, all in one neat Austrian package. And look, credit where it's due, right? Like Russell kept it tidy.
Like a
He
bratwurst.
didn't lock up. He didn't have any radio meltdowns. There was really no flair for the dramatic, which is kind of George in a nutshell.
But
he
almost
managed
like
his
they
tyres.
knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just seemed like they never were in this race. Obviously, bit of a shame about Antonelli and not being able to secure some additional points, which is ultimately why they've lost second in the Constructors' Champ. But look, usually we do kind of keep this segment for the top 10, but I want to touch on Antonelli after... he grabbed his first ever podium last week. And again, it's just like polar opposites for some drivers at the moment. You have Antonelli who grabs his first ever podium in the last race. Then he comes out here. He gets it all wrong in the first corner of lap one. He didn't just end
Really
his
wrong.
race. He ended Max's. Now, I was a bit
Max
outspoken.
was like surprisingly
Sporty.
mature
Calm.
as
He was
well.
there was a lot of sportsmanship, which I'll get onto that in a second. But I was pretty outspoken about seeing Max back on top of the podium for this race. As we all discussed last week, he's been a machine.
We all predicted him at 1,
in
didn't
Austria. Yeah, I think we did.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Well, he'd secured 5 successive poles, 5 Grand Prix wins, but even before Antonelli dive bombed him, which I'm not sure if you guys seen. I think it was today or yesterday. Antonelli's got a 3-place grid penalty for Silverstone now.
For
good.
Silverstone,
But
yeah.
it became pretty clear that adding to those tallies for Max would be really tough. Even as I said before, him and Antonelli, it didn't look great for him in quali. The car didn't look there. We're going to get to Yuki in a second. But did you guys know I think it's his second. It's only his second DNF in something like 80 races.
It's his first time being outside of the points since 2022.
Yeah, something crazy like
Yeah.
that.
And he's just shy of Lewis's record of most
Points.
consecutive points.
Yeah.
I think
not anymore.
Lewis is like 44 and he is like
It's like
38 or
36
something
or
like
something.
that.
Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
36, 38.
Okay,
maybe.
It was
sounds
close.
like some
Yeah.
people been paying attention. Hey, did you guys see this
Not that
funny
much.
stuff running around? And I don't know how true it was, and you can obviously doctor anything, but the clip of when Antonelli and Max are taken out, like Antonelli, the running commentary is that Antonelli waits in his car to make sure Max is okay. So like, does Max get out of the car first and then waits to see like what Max's reaction is before he gets out of the car? But look, to your point, Ev, I thought Max was brilliant. He got out of the car. He came over to Antonelli. I want to go back to this point, and for me, this is the epitome of the real Max versus the media Max. I feel, and we've spoken about it, and actually we've all probably at some stage been like, oh, fuck Max. And I've always been fuck Max because I don't like seeing the same winner every time. I like Max's craft. I like that he's, he doesn't kind of put up with shit. I love that. But all the drivers keep saying how lovely he is, that he's a great guy. But he's not portrayed like that. But this was really lovely. And he was, in fact, again, the bloke's just lost his race. That's again that's his championship gone. Like, it was a small glimmer of hope, but let's be honest, that's kind of it for Max this year.
Well, that's what he said as well.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's what Marco said as well.
And I saw a lovely meme, a funny meme going around saying, I think it was like, Ev, it was you. It was Steve McMahon, that crying meme. And it's like Red Bull fans when they realise the number 33 is coming back on the car next year.
Yeah.
Great meme. But
why did you go with number 1 in the first place then? You idiot.
Arrogant.
Same reason Lewis did. Didn't Lewis? Oh, no, Lewis has always been 44, hasn't he?
He's always been 44.
True. All right, take that back a bit. Hey,
Anyways,
I don't want to... look, first of all, I was just kind of alluding to the fact that Max is a great sport. And I thought it was really nice, standing up for Kimi and suggesting that, we're rookies. We've all been there. We've all done something like this. Yeah.
So you guys know, Ollie knows athletes better than we do. How Max responded this week is how every other champion has ever responded. But when Seb Vettel was a champ, he was such a and please don't bleep that.
Was.
He was so unlikable.
I hate him.
Cutting off Mark
Yeah.
Webber, cutting off, and it was the
Yeah.
dirt. He was so dirty.
But he's so wonderful now.
and
like that, you don't
yes,
just...
So
and-
lovely
But you
now.
don't just become a
Ever
good
since-
person, Ev.
Ever since
That's
he
an
left
Eve
Red
thing.
Bull, he's been the most respectable,
Lovable.
stand-up
Ambassador.
citizen. Real
Yeah.
ambassador.
Yeah.
Ev's blaming Red Bull.
And
I
you just
can
think,
feel
what's the fucking common denominator here?
it. Age.
Christian
Oh,
Horner.
yeah,
Age. Yeah, it is.
Age is literally the
No,
common
it's
denominator.
Christian Horner.
Alonso.
No.
Christian
No.
Horner's got a lot of age,
Shut
and he
up.
hasn't
Guy.
stopped
Yeah.
being.
Hey.
Who's the actor in the F1 movie?
Idris.
Oh my god! No,
It's his name
it's
Idris?
just
Yeah,
something.
it is.
Yeah.
It is Idris.
He
yeah.
Idris is his
he
first
came
name.
out like the other day
last name.
saying he was really surprised what a great guy Max is.
Yeah.
and
That's
everyone
kind of
loves
what I was
Max.
alluding. Yeah.
Such a lovely dude, and he's nothing like he's portrayed in the F1. And I was like, yeah, that makes so much sense.
You need
no
a
wonder,
villain.
No wonder he hates all the fucking interviews and stuff. It's like in saying
And
that,
the
I
media
agree.
that's
stuff.
not
I
an
don't think
excuse
he's
for his poor
portrayed.
behavior.
He's
He
not
is,
like.
yeah.
portrayed.
I don't think that he's framed as a villain. He says and does disgustingly shitty,
Yeah,
unsporting
Evan,
things.
you got to let me finish my sentences so you know where I'm going with this.
Buddy, we got the point.
You didn't,
It's a
because you
short
just felt
podcast.
the need to fucking jump in.
Go.
I just
Yeah,
said
yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
You're welcome.
It doesn't excuse his shitty behavior when it is shitty, but I think it's also important because we don't see the friendliness of the group. Say it would be
No.
like me and Ollie being in a race and me telling
yeah.
you to go fuck yourself, and us having a fight in the paddock, and then having a beer. 2
Which
hours
we
later.
would. We totally
one
would.
sees-
Yeah.
100%.
I'd
No
throw
one
my
sees us
helmet at
having a
you.
beer. So to us, that's just competition. But to everyone else, going, oh my god, like they hate each other so much.
Yeah, and,
it's
like, look-
it's hard. It's hard to read it when you don't see the
It
other
is,
side
and we're
anyway.
not, and we're
But I'm
only
still-
getting
I
a
still
glimpse
like
of
him being
it.
the villain.
Yeah, but and I think this point here, which I'm about to say, is kind of the epitome. Is that Max knows and is comfortable in his own skin. He's an incredible competitor, and on track, everything is fundamentally very different. And everything off track is mostly blown up, or, like we alluded to last time, is when he's asked the same question 700 times, he goes, I've fucking had enough of this. But my point being is, did you guys talk about, has he had enough? Did you see he was asked after the race what he thought of the race? To which his response was
I
that
was
he
just
didn't.
gonna bring that
He
up.
didn't watch it because he was watching the 24-hour Spa race. Like, I mean, this guy has gone to another level of just not giving a shit, like
Giving a
about what
fuck, yeah.
anyone wants to say, what the media want to kind of criticize him for. I love it, and I am here for it, and I am a Max fan.
So Digby, here's
God.
Digby, here's 2 points that we can cut into social media bite.
Snippets.
Here we go.
Max,
We'll be the judge
when,
of
If he
that.
doesn't say so
social
himself.
media bite is exactly what it's
when
called.
Max
You
first
fucking
did
boomer.
his sneaky GT3 thing, right?
Yeah.
He did it in
Yeah.
a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Last week, he did it. His team was racing in Aston Martin cars.
For Red Bull.
Is
Well,
that
he,
with red line?
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
was in Aston. He was in an Aston Martin. Is that telling? We don't know enough, obviously.
I
I'm
don't
not.
know. It was a
Well,
Ferrari.
so
and
far,
an Aston
yeah, it
Martin,
doesn't tell me
and then
anything
there's
other
talks with
than-
Mercedes.
yeah.
Well, no, but like the narrative that Max is going to go to Aston Martin. The first week
Well,
he drove a Ferrari, and it's
that is
almost
not
as
the
if he's,
narrative on the
we'll go,
weekend.
Why
we
did
get
I go
in-
Aston Martin?
Fuck it, let's go there. Let's go there.
All right,
Gents.
the real point is, fucking. What was I going to say?
Yeah, this
here
social
we
bite's
go.
amazing.
No. Just wait. Just wait.
It's a snack.
Fucking wait.
It's coming.
He's the way that he was so calm and respectful and as a champion holds himself after this. A really dumb mistake by a dumb rookie who shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Agreed.
It should have been someone else, right? Surprisingly calm and retrospective.
We've said
What
this.
if, imagine, why would he be that way unless perhaps Christian Horner's out and Sebastian Vettel's in, and maybe he knows.
Oh,
Nah,
I'll tell you
it's
why.
because he
Yeah,
wanted to
there you
watch
go.
the Spa.
Yeah,
There's
I
your
wanted to go watch
fucking
Spa
there's
24.
spark
exactly
that
right.
fire,
He
Digby.
didn't
Spark-
care.
The fire's lit. The
He
fire's
got
lit.
knocked out, and he was just like, "Thank God, now I get to watch
Oh,
the rest
now
of the race."
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'm reading too much into this.
Oh, you're reading some fucked up
You're
tea
right.
leaves
Digby's
there.
absolutely right.
But look-
you could read it.
Look,
No,
we're
no,
on the
no,
topic,
no.
so let's go there. A couple of weeks ago, we spoke at great length about George, all but locked in for next season and beyond with Mercedes. But boy, have those rumours gone into overdrive again this weekend, with Max being apparently in discussions with Mercedes, and to the point where I believe even Toto has confirmed that they
it,
are talking to Max. Boys, is there any truth? Oh, well, ignore that. There obviously is if Toto's claiming it, unless Toto is just desperate to rile up fucking Christian Horner.
Change your fucking driver.
Yeah, very, very good, Tay. That is very good. Here's my take, though, lads. I don't see it being a Max and George partnership if Max goes to
No.
Mercedes.
Yeah, no,
it's
neither.
a Max and Kimi partnership. And if that were true, where does
so nice to
George
him.
go and why? And what happens at Red Bull without Max?
Aston Martin.
George goes to
you
Red
reckon?
Bull.
You reckon George
He's not
goes
gonna
to
go
Red
Bull.
I'm
no,
telling
he's not
you,
gonna go to
Christian
Aston
Horner is
Martin.
still... if Christian Horner is still in charge of Red Bull, you could not find a driver more off-brand for Red Bull than George Russell. I'm sorry.
Imagine if he
Maybe
became
that's-
the British
but maybe
villain.
that's what
Imagine
I'm
he
trying to do.
becomes the
Oh,
British
okay,
villain.
How good would
okay.
that be?
Oh, show me that arc. Take me through that arc, Tay. I like that. Imagine George just
Yeah,
becomes some fuckwit.
Yeah, he gets all suited up in his like weird Steven Seagal suits, and he's just like walking around the fucking paddock and just not giving a fuck. And like he's a Rocky Balboa enemy. What was the dude from
Drago.
Dolph Lundgren?
Club
Dolph
Lang.
Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah,
Apollo
that one.
Creed.
Hey,
Doctorate of Chemistry
Diggs,
from
Diggs,
Sydney
can you
University.
actually
Dolph Lundgren.
see? Honestly, you said it. Can you actually see George at Red Bull? You think that
like
makes
you
sense?
said, like,
I can,
well,
yeah.
as a driver, let's say you're George, right? You only have so many options. You probably don't want to go to Ferrari, or it's not an option.
Wouldn't be an
You
option.
don't want to go to Aston Martin in their current state. That's a step down.
With Adrian Newey.
I mean,
Yeah,
at the
I think
moment,
you would
there's-
wanna go
I
to
mean,
Aston
the car currently is not, and maybe Stroll has to be a driving partner. We don't know what the situation there.
That's-
Stroll
I mean-
watch can confirm that.
You mean Stroll
Stroll
Patrol?
Patrol.
Stroll,
Yeah,
Patrol,
Stroll
we'll
Patrol.
get to that.
It took us so long to think of that
Kimi
pun,
did his
really.
best impression of Stroll this weekend. I think
did,
you
yeah.
want to pick a good car, right? Like, look, I know everyone dies at Red Bull except Max, but perhaps George knows how to drive that way. I don't know.
Well,
I'm just
okay,
saying,
so here's-
there's not that many. You don't have many choices. Where there's nothing is a step up.
Okay,
from where he
so
is,
I want
except
to,
maybe
I want
Red
to,
Bull.
I want to build on something you said there. I mean, we're going to come back. Well, there's two things. One, I want to talk about Red Bull without Max. I'll get to that in a second. But let's say, okay, no, fuck it. Let's go there. So, guys, if it wasn't for Max this year, the Red Bull team would be last in the Constructors' Championship. Now, we joked
That is
about that, like,
crazy.
in round 4. It's now, like, round 13. I think, are we halfway through the
How-
season? This, but
We're not quite.
not quite.
halfway,
Okay,
yeah.
Give
but if
Yeah.
you remove, so Red Bull have 162 points. Max has earned 155 of them, right? So that'd actually be on 7 points, of which Alpine is currently on 11th in last. This has to be one of Is this the worst season on record for Red Bull?
It's so
I can-
it's so telling how I mean, in spite of my distaste for Christian Horner, I do have a huge amount of respect for him.
respect
But
him.
it's very telling how pointedly defensive he was this weekend, specifically, where it's come out that there's performance KPIs in his contract.
For
and
Yuki?
then
Sorry, I missed
George.
those.
No, for Christian.
Oh, for
No,
Chris?
for Max. Max
Oh,
has KPIs in his contract, and George let slip that I can't sign until Mercedes know what they're doing about Max, and it's a very weird
Nice.
thing. It was off the cuff. He didn't mean to say it, and then
Sure.
Christian, whose hands are tied because he signed the contract for Max.
Oh, you're
And
talking
so
about
there's
the
nothing-
get out of contract clauses,
The-
KPIs
yeah,
that you're
that
referring
exit
to.
clause.
Yeah.
Supposedly that's activated now.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, which is
And
why
so
Antonelli took
it's-
out Max.
Yeah.
Like-
What's the thing that Wilson used to say when what's the meme where you run off on your own and you're like,
from when he used to do
Leroy
that in COD.
Jenkins.
Leroy
Do you think that-
Jenkins.
Do you think Kimi Antonelli was like, let's stroll?
Oh. Hey, okay, so
Yeah,
let's
apparently.
go. Ted.
Oh yeah, go.
Go.
I was just going to say into Ev's point in regards to the exit clause. So apparently it was he had to
Apparently,
If he
so
was in the
none of
top
this has been
4.
qualified. Just for
Yeah.
the record.
No,
Yeah.
no. Just based on the article I read, it was believed that if he was in the top 4 in drivers, then he couldn't initiate that
something
exit
like that,
clause.
yeah.
It's now come out that he actually had to be in the top 2. So that's why.
No. I think
all of a
Red
sudden-
Bull had to be there was a no. Are you sure?
No, yeah.
Okay.
So it's come for both now.
So continuing with the Max leaving Red Bull narrative, if he did, and guys, if he did, for me, that is like DEFCON 5 shit at Red Bull. Like, that to me
That's
says
what I
there-
meant with like,
Yeah.
wouldn't Red Bull be like, we'll bin off Christian, bring in Sebastian
Absolutely.
Vettel,
You feel like Red Bull are doing
and,
anything
and
to
then
hold on
Max
to
will stay?
Yeah, possibly. Again, we don't know.
No, of
but
course.
it's clearly, and the conversation has really ramped up over the last couple of weeks. Granted, Yuki has been fucking awful, and he was awful. However, everybody's just now saying, look, it's the car. Liam Lawson, who we'll talk about, he's gone back to that Racing Bull and he's driving well. He came 6th on the weekend. Brilliant drive from him. So everybody keeps saying, it's the car. They have built and tailored this car too much to Max. So let's say, for instance, that you guys are in charge of Red Bull now, right? Or hypothetically, do you see them going, actually, you know what? Like, Max is gone. We're actually going to build a car for 2 drivers. We're going to bring in Yuki and Liam. This is what I would do, right? I'd bring Yuki and Liam. They're my Red Bull team. And you put Lindblad and you put Hadjar in the Racing Bulls. And you just spend the 2 years getting that car right in the hope that one of those 2 in that Racing Bulls are your future, knowing that Yuki and Liam are apparently capable drivers. They just couldn't drive a car that's tailored to Max. Yeah, so do you just swap it up like that? Or do you go in a different direction? And you get your Georges and so if you're in charge of Red Bull, Diggs, what are you doing?
I like what you suggested. I think go with the 2 boys and train them. Take your time. Don't rush. I think they've been trying to rush a new driver in. Like, the decision to get rid of Liam was really odd, considering
2 races.
Like,
You know what I mean?
He could have been fine by now. We don't know. He doesn't know. No one knows.
Well, he's not
But-
going to.
but
He
I
would
think
have been
how you
worse
carry
off
yourself.
than Yuki.
Exactly. And you know what? That will give them time to get some confidence into the car, build the car around the new drivers. I think it would do them some good if Max left, maybe. And you can build a team.
How much pressure do you think is coming down from the top in regards to seeing progress? Like,
That pressure is on Christian Horner.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
this
on the
is the thing,
drivers.
right? So, like, then if there's a common goal in the sense of, like, it's going to take us a couple of years to get our drivers to where we want them to be, are we all okay with them being midfield to bottom of the field?
I don't know.
That's the question.
Well, I mean, based on the fact that they've won 4 championships in a row, I don't know what life at Red Bull looked like when it was Danny and Max. I don't know where they were finishing in the constructors, so I don't know what rock bottom
Yeah, so they
looks like.
struggled with the Renault engines. They went back to Renault.
But they were
and
still
that
like
was when
3rd
Renault
or
was
4th,
shit.
weren't they? In the
Yeah,
they were never.
still doing really well.
Yeah.
No, they
Yeah.
never dropped off a cliff into like mediocrity.
Yeah, okay.
And so, that pressure to swap out Lawson or whoever it might be, that's Christian Horner panicking. That's all it is. Helmut Marko is an interim between Horner and
The drivers.
no,
the youth
well,
drivers.
yes, both. Well, Max but also the family, the Thai family.
Mateschitz.
No, not Mateschitz. The other ones, the
okay.
the Thai family that own the 45% of Red Bull or whatever. It is.
Okay. All right.
So and that's why there's been such a power struggle. A collective friend of ours, was talking last week off chat about how in his workplace, a leftover from the last boss is undermining his position, and then another boss doesn't understand why, because that's really bad structure, corporate structure. Red Bull are exactly the same. Christian Horner is a king on like a really short king on a really big horse.
Hey, well, whilst we're talking about helmet
Yeah.
and Racing Bulls, so as I alluded to, Liam Lawson, 6th place, brilliant. And exciting news for all of those our New Zealand neighbours. Digby,
Cue music.
Cue music. Liam Lawson.
Music's coming on right now.
Yeah, look, he didn't get driver of the day. Didn't get driver of the day, but you suspect that he would have been very close to it. Driver of the day, we'll get to in a second. Without a doubt, his best driver of the year. He secured some valuable points for the Racing Bulls, who are now 6th in the constructors table, which is phenomenal. Gents, I was really impressed by Liam over the weekend. Strong defensive driving. He spent much of the afternoon actually fending off Alonso, which was awesome. And there's a wonderful clip doing the rounds of those guys talking after. Yeah, they've had a couple of run-ins, so it was interesting seeing and actually watching what looked like actually quite a nice relationship. I feel like his maturity and composure under pressure probably should be widely praised. I think he was, like I said, he was awesome on the weekend. Diggs, did you like what you saw?
A bit. I loved him. Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah.
I think the experience of this year, he probably needed. We all saw how
Humbled
he was
him.
before the year. Yeah, he's been quickly humbled, and I think he's learning how to deal with it in a mature way. I'd like to see more of this Liam Lawson. However, I will miss singing that song if he gets a bit too mature.
I don't think he's going to go too passive.
No. Because he was on the one-stop strategy.
Yes, he
and
was.
Alonso.
Yeah, him and Alonso. That's right.
Yeah, so I wonder had they pitted him for the second time where he would have fallen. The fact that he was able to sustain.
He wasn't
just
far
on
ahead of
one stop
Alonso.
is all credit. No.
So what do you say?
Yeah.
What's a pit worth? 20 odd seconds in
24 and a half.
It was
or
over
something.
18.
18 in
It was
Austria.
over 18 for
Yeah,
Austria.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, yeah. The others all fall under +1 laps. So I'd need to check definitively what their times are, but I mean,
What was it
those
you said? What was it you said? And I was like, they stopped counting in seconds after the top 10. Who was that about?
Yeah.
Was that Yuki? That Christian Horner was like, oh, we finished so and so. I was like, buddy, that's counted in minutes, not seconds.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
It's 93 seconds.
What are you defending here?
Oh, he was actually only 650 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah. Hudger, his teammate, wasn't too far behind, so just missing out on the points. He came in 12th. Another, to your point, Tay, one stopper was Alonso. Look, I mean, fucking hell. Like, he's been brilliant the last couple of weeks. Another wicked weekend for the F1 legend. Again, demonstrating his trademark tenacity. Tay, you alluded to his one-stop strategy. There was some brilliant driving between not just him and Liam, but him and his teammate, Bortoletto, who was actually driver of the day, and we'll get to him in a second. Look, I think I have become such a fan of Alonso's, and I don't know if it's because of his racing or because of the videos that seem to be doing the rounds. Have you guys seen when they're at the national anthem and he mimics Charles Leclerc? Oh my God, it's so funny.
And when he's just in the background watering plants.
Oh yeah, or when Lance was doing that, he was doing some social media video, and Alonso comes past in his scooter and looks back. Like, I mean, he's so old, so old.
He's not that old. He's my age. That's fun.
He's old for a driver, man. Yeah, super old. Diggs, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, if it was even possible for Stroll not to drive for Aston Martin, him and George would make quite a good team. They're quite based on this year's results. They've both been very consistent.
Yeah,
in a team that like they I don't know, it'd be an interesting pair. I think it would be an interesting pair. Like, certainly Aston Martin suits George as a British symbol. But I just don't
for sure
choose to
British green.
You know what's not an interesting pair? Lance Stroll and anybody else.
Well, to that point, so I've got to bring it up there.
Quickly becoming my favourite team, actually.
And look, we often do like a Stroll watch. It has been rebranded,
Stroll
mind
Patrol.
you. It's called Stroll Patrol. Thanks to Ev, who came up with that over the weekend.
I prefer
So
Patrol needs to be spelt with 2 L's. Otherwise it doesn't work.
sure. That's probably how you would spell it. Gents, Stroll pretty much finished last over the weekend. If it wasn't for penalties to
so
both
bad.
Yuki and Colapinto, he would have probably finished last of the finishing drivers, noting that there were 4 retirements on the weekend. I mean, honestly, come on now. Like, when's enough? Here's Lance's results recently. 14th on the weekend, 17th, 15th, 15th, 16th, 16th, 17th, 20th. And a lot of those
14th for this week is an unfair way to, because it makes it sound like he did okay.
Yeah,
Third
okay.
last.
Well, if
He
all
came
of those
third
other
last.
teams, if all of those other drivers had been out there, he would have come 17th. And I know for a fact on a couple of those 16ths that I read out, they were similarly for
few
DNFs
DNFs
in those races. So,
DNFs, yeah.
look, he's had 2 points finishes, which were actually the first 2 races of the season. And to somewhat of his defense,
You came in her mouth. Yeah, but it was
he
my
is
third
currently
choice.
beating the 5 rookies on points. He's also ahead of Yuki, Gasly, and Sainz. He is also equal with Alonso, but however, Alonso very much seems on a different trajectory. Gents, like I said, when is enough enough? Why is Aston Martin at least considering... Why aren't they, at least considering
Do they have a
grooming
choice?
someone in the wings? Like, why
Is
aren't
it
they...
purely nepotism?
Is it? Can
It
it?
must
How
be.
long can that go
Of
for?
course.
Like,
Well,
how costly
he's
is
For
that?
as much
money,
as his
man.
dad wants it to go for.
It's his money, right? He gets
Yeah.
the final say, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Or am
well,
I
yes,
missing
his
something?
team.
I don't appreciate this like
But at what point is it too
of
embarrassing for your
sportsmanship.
dad?
It isn't
but-
embarrassing. I don't think it is.
Yeah, but really, your son is
No.
horrendous at driving. He's a
no,
laughing
it's
stock of the
embarrassing.
world.
Somebody
At what
filming
point
you
do
as
go,
you
yeah,
like
this is
rotate your
embarrassing, I wanna
junk
get him
in your
out.
pants. No. Look, I absolutely agree with Digby and everybody. Like, of course, but we can't relate. That guy has that joke about us, like him pointing, and then like a stratagem comes down and like obliterates a city. Or like, yeah, that's probably not that far
Yeah.
from the truth.
But if you go back
Like,
to the
in all
core essence,
seriousness,
that this is
that
a race, that this
um,
is the Formula
one-
One, this is high elite performance. Like, I don't get it. And I'm kind of...
But if
it's-
Aston Martin finish last, they get the most amount of wind tunnel time and CFD for the greatest designer in the history
then
of
go
Formula
get
One.
Mazepin. Like, go get a driver that's actually not related to you to avoid the embarrassment. Like, it's just shit. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm so... Like, we joke about Stroll being in this, but I'm so... I don't get it, particularly when Alonso's, like, now finishing top 10 in... I think he's got 3 or
Yeah.
4
Funnily
last
enough,
races.
It's
Like,
a big gap. It's a big
It's
gap.
a
Funnily
massive
enough,
gap.
he did do better last season, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did do better last season.
yeah,
It was
okay.
significantly better.
But now
he's having a
now we're
particularly
seeing-
bad year.
Yeah, but now we're seeing almost not as big a difference of Max and Yuki or Max and every other Red Bull driver, but it is getting to a point.
I
where
would
you're
say the
starting to
gap
see
between
quite a
Aston Martin's
disparity.
drivers is
Yeah.
the same as what it would be at Red Bulls.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
just
Wow.
quickly on
Take
on
that,
Alonso.
Christian.
Did you guys see that wild stat over the weekend? It's something about the fact that he's like started 36% of all F1 Grand Prix in history.
Wild.
Like, this is since
Ever.
1950. Like, the F1 started in
no,
1950.
That
That's
stat
fucking
has
brilliant.
been around for a while
Yeah.
because obviously, statistically speaking, that has been the case since like the early 2000s.
I wonder if he's aiming for 40%.
It's amazing.
He's just going to round out the number.
I don't think he
But
can.
I love
I
that
don't-
one. Who was it? Digby's favorite driver, Kimi. And
Raikkonen.
Kimi Raikkonen.
Raikkonen.
Was it Kimi that he'd driven
More miles.
to and
yeah.
from the moon or something?
Yeah.
I think that was a
When
half
that was
stupid
in
That was on a
40.
Silverstone weekend. I think that was
Yeah,
celebrated.
it was like an amazing fact, and of course he didn't care because nothing matters to him.
All right,
which
look,
is
I'm going
wonderful.
to
It's
quickly
cool.
wrap up
It's
8th,
super
9th,
sad.
and 10th because we're
who
running out of
doesn't
time.
Love that. All right, go on.
Yeah,
Um,
go.
So as we round out the final points, in 8th and 9th was not one, but 2 cars for the first time in 629 days for Sauber. First up, Gabriel
Love
Bortoleto
him.
got his first ever F1 points with a seriously composed drive for F8. For P8, rookie nerves nowhere to be seen. He was calm, he was fast, and really assertive in those final laps when he was chasing Alonso. He didn't pull it off. I thought he might. But just being in that fight, obviously with a 2-time world champ, tells you plenty. He's getting sharper by the week, and people are obviously starting to notice. And then you've got Nick Hulkenberg again in P9.
What a
he's
year
actually he's come from back of the grid, so he qualified last, and he managed to
Yeah.
finish in the
Yes.
points. So take that,
That
Stroll.
was so good.
Actually where he started Vintage Hulk, smooth overtake, smart tyre management, none of the
Vintage
chaos that
Hulk.
usually swirls around the back end of the field. It's been a really good few weeks actually for the lime green team, and you get a sense that unlike Aston Martin's or Alpine's or Williams teams who seem their car trajectories, seem to be going either non-existent or going in reverse, Sauber have somehow found something with enough underneath it, and they're really making it count. Gents, it's hard to say if this marks a consistent path forward, but whatever it is, Sauber's looking pretty alive at the moment, and for the first time in a while, they don't look completely lost in the back of the pack. Surely this is good for F1, notably along with Haas, who, again, Ocon came in 10th, Behrman was 11th. it's great seeing these smaller teams pushing for top 10 consistently. That is a promoter's dream, surely.
Yeah, especially a team like them. I don't know what it is about Hulkenberg. It's something exciting to see a guy like him who never really annoys anyone. He's just there. He's always having a good time.
He's Switzerland.
He's had a few bad years. He's always been okay, but for some reason now he's in a shitter team and he's doing better. Makes it exciting. And you've got a new rookie guy that's doing all right. Like,
is he that neutral?
'Cause
Because
last
didn't
year
him
they
and
were rubbish.
Magnussen hate each other? Like, weren't they? Like,
Yeah, they hated each other. But Magnussen was more...
Was that just one time that they repeated again and again?
Yeah.
One incident.
Yeah. Fair call.
I have been enjoying watching the rookies and in particular, oh god, I'm gonna Bortoletto. It's been nice actually. The ones who actually you can see race after race, weekend after weekend, how much they're learning and they're taking on each weekend into the next race. It's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
Great crop of drivers this year, and all of them at some point have actually looked like I can't think of one rookie now that hasn't had a moment of like, holy shit. Like, think about Antonelli. He's had an awful. Antonelli's had an awful 6 races. He's just got a podium in the middle of that. But before that, he was flying. Hadjar's been incredible. Liam Lawson now looks incredible. Bortoletto's found some great form. Behrman's always been up there. Colapinto,
apart from the first one.
Doohan and Colapinto, ironically, both for Alpine, are probably nothing really to rave home about. Hey, but let's quickly wrap up. 10th spot.
Colapinto's been horrendous.
Yeah, he's been awful.
Yeah.
Ocon in 10th, sneaking into the points, brought it home for them, which is, honest, probably a podium if you're wearing that race suit. It's his second points tally in a row following success in Canada. And as I said, just a near miss for Behrman, his teammate in 11th. The car didn't have the legs to go chasing the Saubers or, the Ferraris or Mercedes. And it's not a race that you're going to see on the F1 season highlight reel, but it's another good result for the US team that actually now sees them just ahead of Aston Martin in 7th in the Constructors. And we all know that every spot on that Constructors for those kind of bottom teams is worth a lot of money. But gents, before wrapping up, and should there be anything else you wanted to cover off, I do want to just call out Williams. Fucking awful weekend for them.
Wow.
We touched on it earlier. It was a double retirement.
Hey,
another 0-point weekend.
Fowles?
What seemed to be a season where the trajectory was positive. They've gone backwards tremendously. That was Albon's 3rd DNF in a row. That's the 3rd race in a row that Carlos hasn't made it out of Q1. I don't know if they've just run out of money.
Commentary on for Carlos. What happened
It's
with
crazy.
Carlos exactly?
Yeah.
What did his car just catch on fire again?
So apparently at the beginning, he had locked up or something seized. And so when they eventually got started, he was driving and it was still initiated or something. The brakes were still initiated.
Like I've said, Carlos he just doesn't have any luck at the moment.
No.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Every
scary.
career ends with bad luck, by the way.
That's very good. I like that. But you can't have luck without... No, wait. You
t-shirt.
can't have bad luck without luck.
Put that on a t-shirt.
That's the quote. All right, that's the wheel gun. It means it's time for our next segment, which means it's time for Hush You've Been Paying Attention, the quiz where my co-hosts put their F1 knowledge, memory, and wild guesswork to the test. As is the case each week, I'm going to fire out questions about F1, the race just gone, and sometimes just completely unnecessary city trivia. Points are up for grabs, pride is on the line, and like Antonelli in his first Austrian race, someone is absolutely about to fall apart under pressure. Now, Digby's in the lead with 7. Taya Never tied on 5, which means mathematically it's still anyone's game. Emotionally, though, the jury is out. I don't think everyone's in this race. Now, before we get stuck in, gents, you know what I need. You know what I want. Give me your buzzers. Tay, you're going first because you're giggling like a schoolgirl. What do you got?
Yeah. He's so excited. He's
Look at him.
fully erect right now.
What
I
have you
can
got?
see it from the webcam.
Semi. So in light of...
I love there's always a backstory.
Of course there is. There's got to be context to it. So someone in the crowds had a poster of Sid from Ice Age, and Max
saw it.
Max saw it. So in light of Sid from Ice Age, I am going to quote something.
Oh God! You got to do the
Here we
list,
go.
Tay.
In your best John Leguizamo voice.
Go.
That's a lisp.
Yeah, go. That's good.
Hang on. Shid, Lord of the Flame.
Hey.
Honestly.
Even Digby's giggling. Yeah. Oh, he's so proud of himself.
I'm so lightheaded.
You're fucked. You're not getting any points tonight because you're not going to be able to get that out.
Wow.
Right. Ev, what do you got?
We'll have to go as shit.
Yeah, do that. It's very
Right.
good, Tay.
Yeah,
It's
so
very good.
I like the commitment because you got to commit to the bit.
You got to get the list. Through.
100%.
My bit is I think we're getting to it later on, which will explain this better. But mine is it has moves. It goes like this. It goes.
Oh god.
It goes.
You know,
Franco. Oh no! And that's meant to be a Macaulay Culkin esque.
Yeah.
face.
Shame nobody else can see it.
We'll
It's
get to
very
Franco
good.
later.
It's very good.
It was a good
Digby.
Go
I have
Digby.
no. Yeah, I didn't have anything this weekend, so I'm just going to stick with Stroll Watch.
Stroll Watch. Okay,
Stroll
not Stroll
Patrol.
Patrol.
No,
Stroll Patrol.
It's never going to be Stroll Patrol for me.
Stroll
It's always going to
Patrol.
be Stroll Watch.
Stroll Patrol. What's
Who's
that?
patrolling? What's
My
the
niece
patrol?
loves Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. I was like, what's that?
I know
dog
every
patrol
Paw
name?
Patrol character.
Yeah. What was the
anyway.
quote that I said on the weekend that I think it was...
yeah, $1
Ted,
short.
he's-
Yeah.
Is it the first time you've heard that?
No, I think he said
Martin
it a few
says
times.
that all the time.
I just love
he
it.
says it a few times.
Yeah, I loved
Yeah.
it.
But it stuck out.
It was like
with that
he's
one.
an hour late and $1 short or something like that.
No, a day late and $1
there you
short.
go.
Oh my
A day
god. Get it
later,
right.
Right,
$1
okay.
short,
Well,
yeah.
I did ask. All right, question 1. When was the last time McLaren won the Austrian GP before Lando's claim on the weekend?
Oh fuck. Oh.
5, 4.
Stroll Watch.
What do you got, Diggs?
Oh.
He's guessing.
95.
I heard this.
No.
Shit. Shit.
I'm just going to pretend I don't hear
I
you.
know.
See how many times you go, shit. Hey, what have you got? You got
Gonna say 98.
Oh, I should make you do it in a list. No. Ev, quick. 3.
98.
Yeah. 3.
Franco.
2.
Oh no.
What do you got?
I'm gonna say like 2012.
2001. 2001.
I knew
was
there was the
closest.
one in there,
I was
and I
fucking
didn't
closest.
believe it.
The last
Oh.
driver to win at the Red
God
Bull
damn it.
Ring for McLaren was David Coulthard in 2001.
I heard that on the.
there you go.
Wow.
Somebody
mate.
hasn't been paying attention.
I hasn't been paying attention.
I had no idea, and I still got a pretty decent guess.
You still got close. All right, question 2. With Yuki Tsunoda, the last classified finisher in P16, and Max Verstappen going out on lap 1, Red Bull entered their scoring streak on the weekend. How many races in a row had they scored points at? I just can see Tay trying to get the list ready.
How many
Franco,
races?
I know. Go Digby. No, Digby was first.
I haven't.
No, he didn't
I
do
haven't,
his thing.
I didn't
He
do
didn't
my
do
thing.
his thing.
It's you, Ev. Go for
Yeah.
it, mate.
What were you doing?
I was.
You
asking
tricked
a
me.
question.
You tricked me.
Well, it
Digby's.
doesn't matter.
Digby's
Lewis
like.
Hamilton,
matter,
do you?
just answer
He's,
it.
he's
Just answer
stalling.
it.
He's stalling.
Yeah, he's stalling.
I can't believe. I can't believe you
Okay.
tricked me.
Can you count him down, Ollie?
Yep, 3,
Uh,
2, 1.
36.
No, wrong.
No.
Wrong.
Stroll Watch.
what do you got?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same amount because it was the Australian one. 82.
Wrong. Quick, Tay.
Shit.
We don't have time for this.
I think the last time when what's his name DNF'd, which was in Australia 2024.
So that's just.
Max.
So,
That was
how many
2024.
races is that? With 23,
Why do I think it's
I'm saying 40.
Something.
77. 77.
77.
77 races.
So what that
They-
ta- what?
It was
was
you went.
fine.
You didn't go far
2
back
times
enough.
34.
Tay.
It was
There you
4,
go.
Yeah.
2 times
That is
34.
not 2 times 34.
You're welcome.
It was four races short of the all-time record set by Ferrari. This is a great start. Still no one with any points. Question 3.
Everything to play for. All
What
to play
unusual event happened during Michael Schumacher's
for.
win at
Franco,
the
I know.
1998?
Franco, I know. Franco,
Do you want me to finish
I
the-
know.
okay. Right.
The car that broke the thing. The truck broke the awning. You're welcome. Next
Go on.
question.
I
Is that the
literally.
answer?
What unusual event happened during Michael Schumacher's win at the 1998 British Grand Prix? And Ev is talking about something that happened 3 days ago.
Austria.
At the F2.
In a different class of racing.
You're wrong. You're so wrong, Ev. Do either of you have an answer
You're
to that?
wrong.
Hey,
You're
Ev
wrong.
was
I have a guess.
screaming down the fucking mic.
You're
What's the actual
wrong.
question?
It was the one unusual thing happened to Mike Schumacher.
What did Michael
at
Schumacher
Silverstone.
do? I don't know.
I was going to say, they let him win? His teammate let him win?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
That was in Austria, though.
Yeah,
that was in
Nice.
Austria.
But
Oh,
no,
wasn't
Tay,
it?
quick, 3.
Nah, I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know.
Lewis Hamilton.
question.
Oh, sorry. Fuck me. He crossed the finish line in the pit lane while serving a penalty.
Oh, that's right. I did watch that.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yes.
Well,
It was
because
a
it was a
loophole at the
drive-through. It
time.
was a drive-through penalty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I saw somehow that came up on my feed, and somebody did
Yeah,
it in the
same here.
Silverstone track. Yeah, one of you guys sent it, and it was
It
like
was the
you can just
Silverstone
cut
track.
all of that corner
Yes.
and go in through the pit lane.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
So for to explain it, the finish line bisects the entire world. Legally speaking, you could go to
It's
Africa.
like the equator.
Yeah, you could cross the finish line in Africa if you wanted to. It does technically go around the world, and so going into the pit lane counts if you cross the finish line in the pit lane. There you go.
Does
At
it
that
still
time,
count?
with that
Does it still
loophole.
count?
No,
Right, question
I
number
don't
thought it did.
4. Moving this along because we are
Yes,
running out of
please.
time.
Please.
Which driver has the record for the most British
Shit.
Grand Prix? Yeah.
Whoa!
Tay.
Well, here we go. Tay got that. Tay deserves this.
Tay,
he deserves
quick.
this.
What do you got?
Lewis.
Yeah, well done. With 9 following last year's win when he overtook. He didn't overtake Schumacher last year.
Boo,
for you, Ev.
Tay,
beat
not
him.
Lewis.
Yeah, he overtook the
could
record,
have. He
the
could
equal
have.
record. Right, Tay's 1-0. Wow, what a long way to get to 1 point. Question 5? Which British TV show holds the Guinness World Record for the longest running soap opera?
Stopwatch.
Franco Ono.
Shit.
That was Ev.
Fuck.
Oh my God.
Coronation Street.
Yeah, well
Coronation
done.
Street.
Well done. Oh my
I was
God.
gonna say
Wow.
EastEnders, and I knew it wasn't
because
EastEnders.
Ev couldn't
Yeah.
remember his buzzer.
To be
but I'll
fair,
give it to
Ev
him.
did stall on his buzzer.
No,
He
yeah,
did-
yeah.
he
No, I
did
respected
stall.
it. Digby deserves half a point for
Okay, you
respecting
both
it.
having
No,
half
no,
a point.
Shut the
no,
fuck
no,
up.
no, no,
That
no.
is absolute
No,
fucking
no, no,
nonsense.
I'm
All
still
right,
gonna
okay,
win.
fine.
Hey,
It's 1
I
all.
respect the
Tay-
game. I respect the game.
Tay getting so angry that you both got half a point, but it would have meant that he was winning by himself. He's just incapable of doing the math.
I'm happy to give
No,
that.
I'm just trying to be fair about it.
Oh,
Can't
yeah,
give a
yeah, yeah.
half a
Okay,
point
right,
for
I'm
right.
trying to be fair to Digby.
1 all. Okay, question number 6. Which UK town is famous for having the world's first iron bridge?
Franco Ono.
Shit.
That was Ev.
That was Ev on mine.
Oh.
I'm going to say Newcastle.
Wrong.
There you go. Oh, you're welcome. You're
Stroll
welcome,
watch.
Taylor.
What do you got,
Stroll
Diggs?
watch.
Well, Taylor actually went in with Ev, so who gets it?
Go dig. No, but he wasn't paying attention.
Manchester.
Wrong.
I think it's Liverpool. I think it might be Liverpool.
What's
It's an
just tell
industrial.
Come on,
It's an
Tay, quick.
industrial city.
Come on, Tay, quick.
Oh,
So Taylor.
sorry. Liverpool.
No, wrong. The UK
I
town
didn't know
famous
that.
for having the world's first iron bridge is Iron Bridge in Shropshire. Shropshire, how wonderful!
Wonderful. That sounds exotic. A bit like when you're
What a
Yeah,
deep
like,
cut.
best coffee
What
ad
a deep
ever.
fucking specific
Makona.
cut that is.
There you go. Yeah, Shropshire,
It's a
how
great ad.
wonderful.
Classic.
Oh, best.
How
Yes. Right, question number 7.
Exotic like you.
I have a list of I have a list of 15 famous English singers and 15 famous bands in front of me. Name 2 singers and 2 bands that may be on it.
Sure watch.
You get 1
Oh,
point.
he's
Sure
so.
watch.
You
Sure
get
watch.
1
Fully
point
erect.
for each right answer, but you will
Fully
lose 2
erect.
points for getting 1 wrong. And your
it has
turn
to be on
ends the
your
moment
list.
you get 1 wrong. So you could
Okay,
get 4
but you
from
just
this,
pick
or you're going to lose 2. Diggs, you were first.
Okay.
2 singers,
And
2,
how many do I have to...
2 singers, 2 band members, and they have to be on my list.
Robbie Williams.
He wasn't the main singer of Take That.
He's also
Hang on.
he's,
Say he was.
he's
That's
also
even
not on my
talking about
list.
it.
He's also not on my list.
I'm sorry. No, hold on. You said 2 singers and
Yeah.
2 bands.
From
I'm
my
trying to
list.
explain it to the other 2.
From my list.
Yes.
Oh,
He's arguably the most famous English singer of all time. Somehow didn't make your list. I don't know.
Okay.
that's a very good
continue.
question. I don't know
Tom
why
Jones
he-
would have something
Led,
to say.
I don't-
Led
Yeah,
Zeppelin.
continue.
He's from Wales,
No,
you idiot.
no, Diggs, you're out if you get 1
The
wrong.
UK.
You're out if you get one. Sorry, Diggs.
All right. Shit.
What do you got, Tay?
Ed Sheeran.
He is on my list. Digby's gonna get
Yeah.
really angry now. He's gonna get. Look at him. He's gonna get really angry at me.
Yeah.
That Ed Sheeran.
I just don't understand. How is Robbie Williams not on your list?
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
No, he didn't.
I'm with Digby on this one.
Okay. Well,
Surprisingly.
Tay.
Give him my point.
I feel like this guy isn't going to be on your list, but I'll
Then
put
don't
him
say
in
him.
anyway. Ronan Keating.
Fuck no. So, Tay, you got 1 point and then you lose 2, so you're back to 0. Which, Ev, you can take a pass at this and go through the final question and be in the lead. Digby's on -2, Tay's on 0, and you're on 1. I would like you to have a stab and see if you can get any right. You should have a stab.
Hey, hold on. How can I be on -2 but Tay's only on 0?
Because
Tay was on 2.
Tay was on 1, then got 1 right, then lost 2.
No, I'm gonna pass because I don't know. What could possibly be on your list? Because like Digby,
Okay. Are you serious?
I'm looking at what I think is where a lot of singers.
Right,
are
Ev,
from.
if you don't take
and
a
Robbie
stab,
Williams isn't on it.
Ev, if you don't take a stab, you lose a
Alright.
point.
Phil Collins.
No. So you lose 2 points.
That was like his album, but he was lead singer of Genesis, the largest band in the world at the time.
We did not even get
Give
to.
us your list.
We did not even get
your list.
to. All right, here's my list.
This is
David
so
Bowie.
Can you name some
confusing.
people?
David Bowie.
David Bowie.
It-
What band was he in?
Fuck
It doesn't
me.
matter.
not- it
I
doesn't
said
have to
matter
be the
about the
band.
band.
Evan.
God, you don't fucking listen. I said 2 singers and 2 bands. That's 4 in total. You had the chance to get 4 points if
Yeah,
you
Phil
listened
Collins.
to the fucking question.
Genesis.
Wrong.
Neither
wrong.
of them are on the road.
Right, this is my
You
list.
don't have to have the singer and the band in the same thing.
Can you lot shut the fuck up? David Bowie, Adele, Elton John, Freddie Mercury, Amy Winehouse, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Mick Jagger, Tom Jones, Kate Bush, Dusty Springfield, Joe Cocker, Ed Sheeran, The Beatles, Queen. I've gone into bands now. Beatles, Queen, Rolling
bands, yeah.
Stones, The Who, Black Sabbath, Blur, Oasis, Coldplay, UB40, The Kooks, Joy Division, T-Rex, Roxy Music, The Jam.
All right.
There you go. I don't remember who's on
Very-
what point.
I'm on -2.
You're on -2.
Tay's on 0.
No, Tay,
I'm on 0.
Tay, that was question
and
7.
another question.
Evan's
There's
on
one more.
-1.
And Ev doesn't even get a swing at this because he's going to take a piss, so he misses out. So this is worth 3 points, this question. So, Diggs, you can win. You can win here. Question number 8, and you have to get both, otherwise you don't get any points. And if you get it wrong, you lose 2. Which London landmarks are known for its giant observation wheel and clock tower?
Shit.
What do you got, Tay?
Big Ben.
And so 2 landmarks. So 1 giant
Sorry, I
clock
thought-
tower.
Stonehenge.
Sorry, I thought you were saying what 2 towns were known for those 2 things. I was
No.
like, well, I don't know
No,
what the
there's,
town
they're
is.
both in the
Oh
one.
my god.
So
I
quick-
know what the answer is.
So you've got a clock tower.
Yeah,
And
no, I know.
quick giant
Hang on.
observation wheel. Last
I know.
3.
Why am I
2,
blanking? It starts with an S,
1.
for fuck's sake.
What does it start with?
The shine.
That's the giant observation wheel, is it? Tay,
Millennium Wheel.
Tay,
He gone.
you're out.
No, it's the London Eye.
And Digby is the winner.
It's not the Millennium
Oh, actually,
Wheel. It's the London
Do you know
Eye.
what? I don't even
Actually,
know how.
no, you can't
I
give me
don't
the win there.
Nah.
You can't give me the win there.
Well,
I only got
I
1
don't think
point.
anybody,
Tay got 1
least
point.
of all our
Tay
listeners,
I
win.
heard observation tower. I didn't hear the wheel.
Okay.
Actually, to be honest, Ollie, Ev technically wins.
Ev does win because
Because Tay got it wrong.
Ev's the winner.
That's such shit.
Oh, that -1 or something? Am I?
No,
Yeah, but Tay and
Well,
Diggs
'cause
were
technically
-2.
he had to get both right, and he only got 1
Yeah.
right.
So he
and
doesn't
then
get any
I
points, he
couldn't-
loses.
I couldn't actually
Also-
answer the answer, so
Because that's
This
right.
This is
It's
the
already
first
been
time
giving me
where
half.
I've actively advocated for Digby to get points,
There you go.
and nobody gave him the points.
So the score now is
you
Diggs
won
7,
for your absence.
Evan 6,
I apologise
Tay
to
5.
Digby
The
and
shark.
Digby alone.
Fucking thinking of the
That's
shark.
it.
He's still thinking. It wasn't the
gherkin.
shard. That also
The
wasn't
gherkin.
the fucking...
Yeah,
I
the
know
gherkin.
it wasn't.
Right,
I just
okay.
could not remember the fucking name of that
Cool.
building.
So
Let's
are Digby
go.
and I both on equal points? No, he's 7.
I
I'm
misheard the
6.
question. I got the question wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
It's time to leave the sounds of the quiz and the hills of Austria behind and officially head to the flat-out, flag-waving madness that is Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. For those new to us, Grid Walk and Trash Talk is where we preview the upcoming Grand Prix, breaking down the circuit, the storylines, the stakes, and before throwing out some wildly confident predictions that will almost certainly backfire. So from tyre strategy to team drama, local legends to backmarker chaos, we seek to cover off what to expect from a Silverstone GP. Then put our reputations on the line with a round of bold takes, hopeful guesses, and slight slander. Most importantly, you walk away in the know and can confidently talk to all of your F1 and non-F1 friends about what to expect and look out for. But remember, we said confidently, not accurately. So let's rip in. Let's talk about the actual track. Silverstone isn't just one of the oldest tracks on the calendar, it's one of the fastest, with legendary corners like, wait for it, Cops, Maggots, Beckett's, and oh my god, how are they still flat out through their chapel? Is it Chapel or Chappelle? I know. I was on a roll! It's built for proper racing. It's flowing, it's punishing, and absolutely relentless if your setup's even slightly off. At the 2018 British Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton compared a lap around Silverstone to flying a fighter jet, which should tell you all you need to know about the Northamptonshire circuit. And despite numerous layout changes over the years, Silverstone has always maintained its essential character and is genuinely a wonderful watch. Gents, where does Silverstone feature in your rankings as a track? Is it your top track? Is it in your top 3? Why do you love it? Or, if you want to be a little bit difficult, why do you hate it? Let's rip it.
Do I go first because I won?
Go.
It goes Spa, Austria, Silverstone.
There it is. Top 3, baby.
Etc.
Rest is Middle
Digby.
East.
You
So you love it. Okay, Digby.
I love it. I know you just Spa's not in my top 5 as a TV product. I know it's a good track, but it's Silverstone's up in the top 3. I think.
Yep.
Austria's always my number 1. But yeah, Silverstone's good. I didn't like being there to watch it. I liked being there for the atmosphere.
Interesting.
But
You
watching it
had
on
such
TV,
a bad experience.
some of the no, I haven't. It's just it's too big when you're there. So unless you're part of everything else, but on TV,
you were in the racing club, weren't you?
Yeah,
Like the most beautiful. That's the best place
Maggots
to be.
and Baggots, it's like so good. It's like just watching those cars go. There's some great racing, and arguably the greatest commentary moment of all time happened there. And the crowd noises there are pretty phenomenal. Like there's so many people there. It's just so loud, so you can't get past that.
Yeah. I was gonna give you a platform to talk about your time there. So I'll come back to you on that in a second. But Tay, very quickly,
as we do every year.
Where does Silverstone feature? Do you love it? Is it? How much are you looking forward to this
it's
weekend?
Up in my. I'm hoping it'll be a great weekend.
Oh,
I
here's
hope
the
it'll
stretch.
be as much.
He's been serious, people.
God,
He's stretching.
That's
every
right.
time.
There you
Fucking
go.
hell, I do
Look
it
at
every
Digby.
fucking time.
Yeah.
Just a reminder for anybody wondering: every time Tay is put on like in front of the spotlight, he does this really awkward, like as if he's at the cinemas, putting his hand around his girlfriend.
No,
or-
as if his wife has been like, what about tonight? Oh, I've got to get up.
I've got to go to sleep. I've got a headache.
I've got a headache.
I do. I love it. It's up there, but I also like Azerbaijan.
Yeah, good from you.
And Austria.
Fucking hell. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. For everybody's sake, I'm glad that Azerbaijan is one of your favourite tracks, Tay. Hey, so why should you go to Silverstone? Because there's nothing quite like hundreds of thousands of Brits losing their minds for Lando, Lewis, or literally anyone in a Union Jack helmet. The campgrounds turn into a 3-day music festival with race cars. The energy is supposed to be unreal. Never been. Take everyone else's word for it. And even the overpriced chips taste better trackside. Now, Diggs, like Austria last week, you've actually been to Silverstone, but not just been, but regularly performed there. You are one of those big acts in the 3-day festival. Why is Silverstone worth putting on the bucket list? Or is it not? Because you
numbers.
said it's not a great race to be there to watch.
It is. You're not there to watch the race at the end of the day. You're there to experience like a festival. If anyone's listening and you're thinking of going, camp and go for a few days.
Yeah.
It's quite a way out of London. So one of the days I went, which we didn't perform, I had to get up at 5:30 a.m. to get a bus, to get another bus, to get up to Silverstone, and then I had to leave immediately and the race was delayed. I didn't get home till like 9:30 p.m. So
Poor
go
you.
camp,
Rockstar.
go experience, pick, maybe do different grandstands for different days.
Okay,
But there's just so many people. There's a lot to do, and the entertainment's generally pretty great. Even if you don't love the artist, it's like the setup is fantastic. It's the only
Well,
negative.
I'd be
like
comfortable
I said,
that
if you're not
none of you would know any of the artists there after what's just happened in Huss. You've been paying attention, but yes, keep going.
Is Phil Collins
Well,
there?
those artists were too big to perform. So basically, you want to pick a spot where you can see the screen, because if you can't, you ain't seeing much of the race. Like, you'll see a part of a corner, and that's it. If you can
tell
get
you
a
what.
long straight position, it's really good. But it's the sound there is great, not from the cars necessarily, but there's just so many people. You can hear what's going on, even if you're not sitting in that part of the track.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. It's just a ginormous area, and it's where all the Sorry, yeah, go.
I was going to say I don't want to derail this, but just talking about remember when you were there a couple of years ago and Zhou Guanyu had that unbelievable crash and you were at the race and you had no idea what had happened, and we're all on the messages going, holy fuck, and you're like, what's happened?
So did the protesters have no idea what happened?
Oh yeah,
mate, the protesters are sitting there going, where are the cars?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm trying to
luckily that
die
happened,
on
right?
camera.
Luckily that happened. All right, so what happened in last year's race? Absolute scenes. The 2024 iteration delivered a race for the ages, marked by unpredictable weather, bold strategy calls, and a deeply emotional homecoming victory for Lewis Hamilton. So Hamilton's victory was historic on multiple fronts. Not only did it end, I think it was like a 945-day winless streak for Lewis, it marked his record-breaking 9th British Grand Prix triumph, surpassing Michael Schumacher's as the only question I think that was right in Huss, you've been paying attention, for the most amount of wins at a single circuit, and made him the first driver to win a Grand Prix after his 300th race start, which I didn't realise until recently. For those playing at home, the rest of the podium was rounded out by Max and Lando, with George all but missing out on everything after leading in his car, giving out of him. It's like deja vu for Mercedes. Boys, in some good news, and to your point earlier, Lance Stroll did do better last year, and he came 7th at Silverstone last year. So Stroll Patrol, there you go. So what are we expecting this year? Can Lando ride the momentum and potentially claim leader in the Drivers' Champ? Will Lewis find home race magic in red? Can Max go 3 years without a Silverstone DNF, bearing in mind that he's had some very bad times there? Gents, who you got to win? Who's going to be the best of the Brits? And who's going to be your biggest surprise? Diggs, you first, big guy.
Okay, this is hard because it's a big track and a lot of the cars do well here. You'd have to think McLaren is still going to stick it out at the top. But I think Mercedes will do much better this weekend. So I'm really interested to see how Kimi goes. So
Lando win or Oscar win?
Ooh, puts him on the spot.
Can Lando win at home?
Lando could win at home. I can't choose between them, to be honest.
Okay.
Lando
that's progress, baby. That's progress.
I think you'll see George above Kimi and Lewis above Charles.
Okay. All right, so you're the best of the Brits for you is Lando. Tay, what do you got?
Not far off Diggers, actually. Yeah, McLaren's I think they're going to dominate. I think there's going to be a big gap between them and everyone else. I would put Oscar in front, but then again,
same prediction every week for you. It's always Oscar.
Well, that's because I'm always hopeful for Oscar. But Lando is a faster driver, so he might, because it is such a fast track.
Yep.
I think Norris will probably come away with it, even though I'm hopeful for Oscar. And I want Lewis to at least get back on the podium.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
I want him to come away with it.
Has there ever been, and maybe I should have done this as a quick, has there ever been a time where all three drivers are Brits on the podium? Has that ever? Anyways,
I don't think
there you
so.
go. If you know out there, let us know.
Mm.
Let us know. Ev, what do you got?
I think Oscar's going to win
Okay.
because because it's such a long track compared to Austria. I think that even if Oscar was behind, the pressure would be too great for Lando.
And he'll fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay. But you reckon Lando in second? Is he the best of your Brits, Lando? You reckon of all?
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
Okay. All right. Any big surprises? You're going to call out anything like, Williams going to feature in a top 10 here? Are they going to find a way
Stroll
through?
in the points.
Stroll in the points. Anyone want to go?
Stroll in the points.
Stroll in the points. Okay.
Strolling into 10th place.
Okay. All right. You're banking on a rebound. All right. Well, It's time now for What's Verstapping, the segment where we zoom out of the race weekend and take a fast and loose tour through some of the bigger stories or dramas or rumours or just utter nonsense swirling around the world of F1 over the last week. Think of it like your F1 news update, if that news update had more sarcasm and worse fact-checking. So the Daily Mail. Right, lads, same rules. Four topics. Fucking hell.
Topics,
baby.
That's a new one.
20 seconds
Fucking
each to have a
hell.
swing. Couple of interesting ones here this weekend. Nothing too controversial. First topic, Ev, you're going first because you won the quiz. F1 revs to $144 million opening weekend. Apple F1, the movie, starring Brad Pitt, has raced to the top of weekend viewings, grossing $144 million globally in its opening weekend. This marks Apple's most successful release to date and Brad Pitt's most successful film launch, which I was floored by.
Yeah,
More than
same
12
here.
monkeys?
Yeah. Apparently,
More than 7.
apparently
Yeah,
it
that
was
didn't
like
do well.
$70 million more than they had forecast. Like the actual.
Wow.
So they, they smashed it. So, question.
One thing, yeah.
Well, do you want me to give you the topic question? Have you seen it? If you have, what's your ranking out of 10? And if you haven't, why not? Go.
I haven't seen it. I
Oh, I
did.
thought you
I was
did.
going to, and then I saw someone. I posted a clip of a very egregious
the
crash where the car is doing 1,000 miles an hour, and then does
It's
this.
just flying through the air.
And I was like, "That's I can dismiss the
Hollywood.
Hollywoodness of
Yep,
it,
yep,
and-
yep.
because that does bother me, and I'm getting old enough now where Hollywood movies bother me. What I will say that's quite funny is that this guy did Top Gun Maverick. When Top Gun Maverick came out in Sydney, here in Sydney, they had cinemas that did 4D or something. DB, do you know what that is? And they were
4DX
4D
or
is
something.
usually you can feel the breeze and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
smell
So
the
they were
wind,
the
surrounding
chair
it. And the chairs
vibrated,
move or something.
and you got pumps of air because the jets were
I
going
did that for
around
Mortal
the-
Kombat. It was quite fun.
Yeah,
cool.
I'd love to see that. So Top Gun did that, Top Gun Maverick, and they're doing it again for this movie where the screen is
wicked.
180 degrees. So I don't know how much that
That's a bit
ticket
much.
costs, but but it does sound incredible if you're looking around.
So you going? Or are you going to see it?
Oh no, fuck no.
Oh, okay.
Do you know how much? Do you know how much it costs?
Okay,
To,
your 20 seconds is up.
To
Your
not
20
have
seconds
to-
is up.
Yeah.
Diggs.
Okay.
You
No,
have
God,
seen
no,
it.
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't.
Oh,
but
I
wanna
thought you
see it.
had.
No, I just had an argument with
Sure, it
someone
was on the
on
plane.
our socials.
You could have
No,
watched
no,
it
no,
on
no.
a tiny little screen.
So I'm going to see it. I can put aside, like Ev said, the Hollywoodness of it. And we talked about Lewis last night. What was he the producer of? And this guy was basically getting annoyed at me for saying this, going, "Oh, if you want realism, go and watch a race." And I'm like, "There's a limit, buddy. You have to have."
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, "True," and I said, "True. If it's a good
Do you
movie,
know what
could just
podcast
race around
I'm
the
on?
moon and come back, right? As long as it's entertaining, it doesn't need to be real."
Yeah.
And so apparently, without Lewis, they would have had this crash scene. I think it's the one you're referring to, Ev, where the car was going to fly through the air, flip, and
Yeah.
land on its wheels and keep going. And
really?
because of Lewis, it didn't happen.
Because that's impossible.
Surely
Like,
that
like-
could
So I'm
not
like,
have
so I
been a
want to
realistic
formally,
Yeah, that's
I want to
so
formally
incredibly
apologize to
impossible.
Lewis for having a go at all these things that he wasn't informing Brad on. Clearly, he was just like, "Oh my god."
I love the
And it's
idea of
it's like, you know
a
what,
6'1"
I can handle
redhead
that because it's
being
it's close enough,
apologized
Brad.
to.
Oh, man, I'm going to see this movie out of curiosity. I'm going to go out of curiosity, but I don't really want to
Leave
see
your
it.
brain.
That's my
Leave your brain behind and just enjoy it.
I
Tay,
can't.
what have you got?
I want to see it.
So none of us have seen it.
I've never-
Fuck, we suck. Oh,
No,
we're
no.
useless.
No. Well,
I was
When
waiting
did-
for
when
haven't
was
had
I supposed
time.
to see it?
It only just came
Yeah.
out. I want to see it at the Sphere in Vegas.
Oh, that'd be
I
cool.
want to go see it.
Yeah. But on the outside of the sphere. On the outside of the sphere.
It'd just been like being
Yeah.
at the Vegas race.
Yeah.
So after every scene, the scene cuts and then the emoji comes around. It's like, what? Did you see that?
Yeah.
I just
Did
want
he
to.
just?
I'm
did,
only.
did Brad Pitt just say what? And it's like
I
the
mainly
emoji is like
wanna
this.
see it. I mainly want to see it because I want to see the acting capabilities of all the drivers and principals.
I think I'll do fuck
Because
all.
there's some scenes with Toto, and I'm just like, that's going to be interesting.
Well, yeah.
Do you think Christian Horner like elbows his?
I bet you he's not
elbows,
in it. I bet he's not
Scary,
in it.
not
The
Scary
top of his
Spice,
head.
Ginger
Yeah, yeah.
Spice.
On the camera.
And it's like,
You just
look,
see the top of
they're
his
having
head.
a
Moving to
relationship
the next
in
one.
the office place.
Bottas on Briatore's
can't
bucket
I?
list. Reports have emerged after the Austrian GP that Bottas could be close to reaching a deal with Alpine over a drive with the team after talks between Mercedes and Flavio. Sources suggest Mercedes could have no problem with letting Bottas take on an F1 return with Alpine, especially as it will become a Mercedes customer team from the start of next year. Gents, Briatore is to be understood as more frustrated than ever with what's going on over at Alpine. A very, very bad weekend in Austria. As it currently stands, Bottas sounds like he's going to be driving for every team, but would you rather he be at Alpine or Cadillac or none of the above? Ev, go. 20 seconds.
Stay away. Like Flavio Briatore is imagine Helmut Marko was 30 years younger. Do not go near that. Do not.
Okay.
Don't do that.
So you're a no,
It's-
right? That was easy.
No. It's concerning from a corporate point of view.
Well, it's not. He
why
wouldn't
does
be
it-
there if it was that concerning. Like he wouldn't be
No, but
there.
He shouldn't be there.
Okay,
because
well,
it should
that's
be
different.
that concerning.
That's different. Yes, true, but okay. All right. Anyways, because we're keeping it 20 seconds. Digby, what have you got?
I don't want to see Valtteri at Alpine. Alpine have just been so shocking this year. He's had a hard enough time at like stake. So I think Cadillac is an unknown. It's exciting.
Yeah.
He'll be fun. They'll probably have to go hard on marketing because they're new. So I think that's the most exciting, entertaining place for him to go.
Apparently, Daniel Ricciardo has said no. Apparently,
Yes.
he has said no.
What was that weird thing about tailgating? Oh, I love and like Australians don't know what that means.
No,
Daniel.
but he does, and he
And then
loves
the
it. And it's an
gambling-
American team.
You do.
But it's NFL. They don't do tailgating for NBA. They don't do it for anything
Well,
other
they
than
do it for
NFL.
soccer.
They do, and they
Sometimes
do
baseball.
it at the Austin, Texas Grand Prix.
But serious question: why did it come up? Because I didn't look into it. Why did it come up with the gambling afterwards? It was like make sure you're not overspending what you can afford, and it was the
That
government.
might be just your algorithm.
No, but
it
what
was
are you
on the
talking about?
stream.
For
It
what?
was after the ad aired, it came with the gambling proclaimer.
Precaution.
Yeah,
Which
yeah, like
ad?
don't overspend. The Daniel Ricciardo ad.
Oh, because he's doing it for Dabble, which is a betting company. It's a gambling ad.
How?
Yes. Yeah, the tailgating is for Dabble. Sorry, now I see you just come in so hot talking about fucking tailgating. I genuinely had no idea.
Yeah,
It's Dabble.
I
Dabble is a
assumed
betting
it was
company.
about tailgating.
It is about tailgating.
This is
That's what
2
the ad
weeks
is about.
in a row.
But
2 weeks in a row
Tailgate and
where
bet.
I have completely
yeah,
missed the point.
you are concerning with your complete miss of marketing.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
Okay, I'm also very confused to why the fuck we're talking about this, because we were talking about Daniel
I
going to
thought I should hire
Cadillac.
him for my tailgate.
Right.
My
I
three
can't remember who I was
friends
up
who
to.
show
Who
up,
hasn't
Daniel?
spoken to?
Yeah, me.
you have to tail
I
up.
haven't.
Go.
I want to see Bottas at Cadillac. I want to see him back on the grid, and the really only viable option at the moment would be with Cadillac. That'd be awesome.
Okay, all right. Next topic, Austria's audacious extension, and Ev's going to be a miss on this one. Over the weekend, it was confirmed that Red Bull Ring has extended its hosting contract through to 2041. Now, fuck, how are we seriously talking about 2041? That's like Blade Runner years. To put this into perspective, teenager Antonelli would be 33 if he's still racing, and Alonso would be 60. So, gents, we've jostled
And
about
17
Vegas
championships.
only getting a 2-year contract, but here we are looking at another track with a 16-year contract, assuming you're all happy about this. But any thoughts to what the cars will be like by then? Will they be fully electronic? Will they be flying? Or will they be driven by AI? Diggs, you can go first because Ev has stepped out. What do you got?
It sounds 2041 sounds like a long way away. 15 years. for a track like, or 16 years for a track like Austria. I would never want to see that taken off the cards. So I'm very happy with this. The cars will hopefully be smaller and much more like their 90s counterparts, because by then they would have figured out that they've gone too big and gone too electric, and we don't want that.
And they
We'll
don't
all
need
be
the
driving
big
electric,
fuel
but
tanks.
the F1 cars won't.
They'll be flying.
It's such a long extension.
That's right.
Well,
it's
that's
crazy.
the
Imagine
third
if
track
that
or
was the
something.
question that you raised. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine.
Because
Yeah,
I was paying attention.
we're gonna skip you anyway. I've told everyone that you went to take a piss.
No,
Tay,
no,
very quickly.
I apologize.
I don't know. It won't be autonomous because we went down that route with this different. I forgot what the league was called.
What?
I don't see
Self-driving
that being
cars?
happen. Yeah, there was a league.
Did you see
racing
when?
league?
So this happened in. I don't mean to interject and Tay, but
Yes, you
this
do.
happened.
You do.
Well,
That's
I do.
exactly what you're doing.
This happened in Bahrain. The Bahraini government sponsored an autonomous race. This is what Tay's
Hang on,
talking
let me
about.
get the information.
Yep,
yeah.
keep
And
going.
so it was the electric cars. What do they call the Formula E? They were like
Yeah,
Formula E cars,
Yeah,
and then
that's
they
the
had
one.
like a droid on top, which was just a set of cameras, and they were like, this is going to put Bahrain on the map for progressing motorsport, the first AI-driven motorsport. Within the first lap, every single car had driven into the wall because they were like, because they hadn't set up the track enough with like markers that would denote what the track is to a camera. And so they were like, yeah,
Yep,
yeah, that's
I can see
it.
that.
They all look like the Formula E car, but without a driver. I don't know
So
if
it's
Robo Race.
Robo Racer,
Right.
And it's done. Funnily enough, it was done by the designer who actually designed the F1 car for the Formula One.
Yes, yeah.
movie.
So there was all of this like intertwining syncope, and CNN and the Bahraini government, because the only people who advertise on CNN are like government tourism sponsorships. They still use this to promote Bahraini tourism. And I'm like, wait a minute. That was like just a humiliating fail.
To be
It
fair,
wasn't even embarrassing.
Probably coming
It
back
was
into fashion with everything that's happened in AI. So there you go.
So to finish off what I was saying,
Yes.
I don't see that being a thing anytime soon, especially not by 2041. And Formula E we've already got, so that's not going to be integrated
going
into
away anyway.
Formula One. So I think I agree. Small cars make the races more enjoyable. Tracks we're obviously going to see a whole bunch of new tracks. That will be really cool to see.
Well, this one is particularly about Austria. That was the original question. But
One of the oldest tracks.
But I'm just saying the changes to be expected by that time.
Okay. All right. Last one. 2026 testing the interest. And lastly for today, Formula One has confirmed that 3 separate tests will be taking place prior to next season, totaling 11 days of running. This extended testing schedule, beginning with a behind closed doors test in Barcelona in January, is a result of teams needing as much time as possible to get to grips with all the new machinery, completely different technical regulations next season. 2 3-day tests in Bahrain will finish the schedule. I think it pretty much means that every month of next year there will be F1 content. Lads, important given the changes for 2026, is this the most important testing lineup in a very long time, given what's coming over the horizon? Ev?
No.
What? Okay,
Go to Digby.
got it.
I don't know. I guess important for us because maybe it's not the most important, like Ev said, but it would be the most fascinating for us to check at because we don't know what to expect. There's all new regulations, so it'll be like it's not just another year of testing. It's testing something which is, essentially very new. So it's most interesting, I think, for the audience to pay attention to.
Agreed. Tay?
I cannot remember when the new cars came in, these current new cars, but I do generally feel like so much has happened since then that there's so much more fandom to it all that I think there'd be a lot more interest. As Digger said, I'm curious just to see what the new car's like. And I am scared, though, after all the teams talking about how they're not liking it. I'm really worried.
I say that
about
all
how
the
it's
time.
gonna
Nobody
end up
likes
being.
change. Nobody likes
They
change.
cut.
Yeah.
They cut it used to be 2 weeks of testing. You'd have the whole 2 weeks in Barcelona to test. Why they've cut that with the implementation of the Liberty Media Group was because it's fucking expensive to keep, 3 or 4 dozen engineers and mechanics and designers hoteled up to and
But that would be because of the cost
from
cap.
the track.
That's got nothing to do with Liberty Media. Like that.
Yeah.
No, but the cost cap was brought.
Oh, right, yeah.
Liberty Media wanted
Yep.
to level the playing field.
Yep.
And so you want 3. First of all, the first one is untelevised or like unopened.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
behind
open.
closed
Right.
doors.
It's
To
private.
my point,
Yeah.
the Simpsons going to the Krusty Land and the robots start killing
Itchy and
each other.
scratchy land.
Yeah, Itchy and Scratchy Land. And it's
Oh,
like,
that's
are you
right.
worried about the cars like going, like zagging instead of zigging? And they're just going, and it's like, yeah, don't film that because that's humiliating. What are you doing? And it's better
I actually
TV.
want to see all that.
Yeah, if they're
Yes.
failing spectacularly, better TV, better product.
Well,
And
Well,
then
it
the
shows
cost of
progress.
going from a 1-2 week stay in Spain to a 3 days in Spain. It takes 2 days to build up all of the
Okay.
motorhomes,
Yep.
and then 2 days to break it down. Then go to Bahrain. Do
right.
the same
I'm
thing.
calling
Oh,
it. I'm calling it. That's us.
Don't fit.
Ev's on a rant. He's
Shut
ready
the
to
fuck
go.
up, Ev.
He wants to be in that closed door testing scenario. That's us for episode 17 of Idiots of F1. Massive thank you for sticking with us through
17.
Lando's redemption, Piastri's precision, Mercedes overheating, and whatever it is that Aston Martin calls a development plan. We've crowned a quiz winner again. Congratulations, Ev. Unbelievable.
Default.
Digby is still ahead.
No, default.
You're all still mathematically in it. We've previewed Silverstone, we've broken down the chaos of Austria, and we've gone full Verstappin on the latest headlines, including Brad Pitt somehow winning a Grand Prix at the box office. As always, if you've enjoyed the show, give us a follow, leave a review, or send us a DM with your own predictions. Bonus point if they're wildly inaccurate. That's our brand. We'll be back next week with all the fallout from the British Grand Prix, whether it's a Lewis fairy tale, a McLaren meltdown, or Max reminding us all that he's still inevitable. Until then, keep your tyres warm, your track limits tidy, and remember, in F1 and in podcasting, it's all about timing. Catch you next week. Bye.
Shit.
Oh, my dear.